Okay guys, welcome back. I'm Macon Campbell and this is Macon Stuff. So most of you can probably tell from the thumbnail and the title of this video that today I'm going to be testing out the Insta360 One X2. So before I go out and hit some trails, I'm just going to cruise around the play pit here and ride a couple of features just to get an idea for how the mount that I'm using is going to behave. Now initially I started out using a 25 centimeter aluminium extension, but I found that I was having a lot of movement while I was riding, so I decided to ditch that and I mounted directly to the bicycle. This seemed to be a whole lot more stable and was also a whole lot less distracting while I was riding. Now please keep in mind that this is the very first time that I'm shooting any video with this camera, so I'm on full auto with all of the settings, and as you'd expect, as a result my footage suffered a lot, especially in terms of exposure, which was all over the place. Nevertheless, the main purpose of this outing was to try and come up with a good workflow for using this camera. Mainly trying to come up with interesting mounting options and then figuring out how to eventually process and edit the footage in a creative and interesting way. So don't judge me too harshly. Now I'm going to save my final thoughts until the end of the video, but what I will say is that this camera is definitely game changing for mountain biking or any other action sport. Being that it's marketed as a pocket camera crew is pretty spot on. The amount of options that you have in terms of framing and angles and transitions is virtually endless. This is literally giving you the kind of results that you could traditionally only get by recording with multiple cameras at the same time. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that all of that power and convenience has to come at a price, and in this case that price is video quality, but more on that later. So with all that said, let's go ahead and hit some trails and I can show you what I managed to come up with, and while we're winding down with the final trail, I'll share with you my final thoughts. So here we go. Here I'm just trying a new angle on my way to the next trail. This might have its place somewhere, but I'm not feeling it right now. Alright, there we go guys. This is the final trail of the day along with my final thoughts regarding the Insta360 One X2. So not all of my mounting options were ideal. This one in particular is one of my least favorites, and the second least favorite was the mount between my legs on the seat tube. But all in all, I think we can agree I definitely managed to capture at least some dynamic and progressive looking footage, albeit at the cost of the picture quality, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Now don't get me wrong, the picture quality isn't horrible, but it simply cannot be compared to something like my GoPro Hero 8 Black shooting in 4K. For example. Even though this camera is shooting in 5.7K at its highest resolution, that resolution is in 360 around the whole camera. In reality, the portion of that resolution that you can realistically watch at any given time is probably less than a quarter of that, or roughly 1080p, which is a standard high definition. Now, I'm not making this statement all nonchalant. In fact, I'm basing these findings off of the fact that I actually recorded this whole ride with my GoPro as well, because initially the idea of this video was going to be about using both of these cameras together. But once I started editing all of this footage together, the difference in image quality between the Hero 8 Black and the Insta360 was so apparent that it actually became quite distracting. So eventually I decided to see what I can achieve with only the Insta360's footage. And judging by the results I was able to achieve, I really think it speaks volumes to the versatility of this camera. To be able to shoot anything remotely similar to this using only a GoPro, I would have to do multiple runs, moving the camera around to different spots on each run. The beauty of shooting in 360 is that you miss nothing. In fact, I could go back and do 3 completely different edits using exactly the same footage, which would be impossible with any other camera. So in conclusion, my verdict is this: whatever this camera may lack in terms of image quality, it more than makes up for with all the other features that it has available. And I'm pretty sure that by becoming a little bit more acquainted with the manual video settings, that I'll be able to achieve much better results in terms of footage, which is definitely something that I'm planning to do in the future. And as I do, I'll definitely be sharing that over here on my channel. So all said, I'm very happy with this camera and I look forward to getting to know it a little bit better. If you're looking to purchase a camera like this, I would definitely recommend it. Just don't expect getting pro footage right out of the box. There's definitely going to be a little bit of a learning curve. So with all that said, once again, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. And as always, until next time, keep making stuff.